Hello and welcome to Fin 302 in the fall of 2024. We're going to start this first class online. I apologize for that. I'm just unable to get back to campus this day, so we're going to do the first one online. So I'm going to go over the syllabus briefly in this video here, and then I have a couple of other introductory videos for you to watch about the time value of money. That's our first topic. And I have a couple of Canvas quizzes for you to take, one of which is the syllabus quiz. So if you'll carefully listen to this video, you should have a good head start on the syllabus quiz. And then you have two other quizzes about the time value of money to complete. And those are all due on Sunday night. All right, and then I'll see you on campus the following Tuesday. Okay, so I'll see you on campus Tuesday. Be sure you get these quizzes done by the end of the evening. They're due at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. Okay, so let's talk about the syllabus briefly here. This is me. I'm Dr. Glenn Williams. My office is on the 5th floor of the BAC building. Here's the email address. It's just my name, glenn.williams@asu.edu. Notice Glenn has two N's. Okay. I don't keep scheduled office hours, but I'm available to meet with you. We can arrange office hours on Zoom, or I'm on campus most days, so we can arrange to meet on campus also. If that works better for you, just either talk to me after class, before class, or you can send me an email and we can discuss how to get together and have an office hours meeting if you desire. Okay. So yeah, this is your introductory course in finance. You're all taking this because you're finance majors. My objective in this class is to give you a very good knowledge of the fundamental basics of finance. All right, I want you to understand the fundamentals so that when you go forward and you take the more advanced classes, you have a good foundation to build on. All right, so we're going to talk about these things here: interest rates, stocks, capital budgeting, all of the basic fundamentals you need to go on and take the higher level finance classes. Okay, I have a textbook here. It is entirely optional. It's completely up to you as to whether you want to get this textbook or not. I also say here an older version is okay. So you can find something cheaper online, and that is fine. Some people like to use a textbook. I don't think it's essential in this class. If you're the kind of person, though, that likes to have other examples to look over and additional readings to do, then I encourage you to add this textbook. Actually, there are a lot of corporate finance textbooks out there, and there's not a lot of difference between them. So anything that says, fundamentals of corporate finance or basics of corporate finance or something like that, is good additional reading if you like to have that sort of thing. But again, the textbook is not required. It's recommended. It does have additional examples and additional practice problems if that's something that you think will help you. All right. I use Excel in class almost every day. Right? Your finance majors, until they invent something new, which could happen soon or not for 20 years, I don't know. But until they invent something that is better than Excel, you're going to use a lot of Excel in your finance career. All right? Some type of spreadsheet application. And it makes it also, it's a very, very useful tool for solving these problems. So I will be using it a lot, and I expect you to have the ability to use Excel on your laptop computer in class every single day. Right? So as I say here, you should bring a laptop capable of running Excel to class every day. All right. I'll put material on Canvas, lecture slides, handouts, quizzes, things like that. I'll post them on Canvas. Attendance. Most of the learning in class is done by completing assignments in class. In almost every class, I will have an assignment that I want you to complete before the class is over, and I will take it up and grade it. right? So class attendance is important. You need to be there. Okay, now, if you do miss a class, I expect you to find out what you missed from another student. Right? I'm not going to have special office hours to go over everything I did in class because you missed the class. I'm not going to do it. You're going to have to catch up on your own. Now, I'm happy to answer questions about the material that you come across as a result of your trying to catch up. That is fine. You can say, look, I missed this class. I've been looking at these problems and I don't quite understand how to do them. That's a fair question, right? But it is not a fair question to say, I missed this class. Can we have a 2-hour office hour so I can go over everything that we missed? I'm not going to do that, right? So you're getting the material that you missed in class. It's your responsibility. You should get that from another student. You can see the Canvas slides. You can see on Canvas the slides that are posted, see what material we covered. You can see the assignments that were handed out. It's up to you to take responsibility for that. As I say, almost every class I will have an assignment for you to keep that I will take up for a grade. And you can note here, I say I will never, under any circumstances, accept any of these assignments late for any reason. Right? So if you miss a class and you miss an assignment, and you'll get 0 on the assignment, and it doesn't matter. I don't care what the reason is. Right now, I know that things happen, and you occasionally will have to miss class. You're sick, you had some kind of an emergency, something happened, and you have to miss class. Right? So to account for that, I'll drop your 3 lowest assignment grades. All right, so you have 3 free classes that you can miss. Right, and I'll drop your lowest 3 assignment grades. So use these 3 drops wisely. Right, so if you use those 3 drops wisely, you should have no problem completing and having a good grade on the assignments. I'll also mention to you that these in-class assignments, they're not quizzes. They're the kind of things where I'll give you the assignment and then you can ask me questions. You can work together on it. Typically, I will tell you if you have the answer correct or not on the assignment before you turn it in. So, what I'm trying to do is encourage class attendance and also encourage you to work on the material while you're there. I'm not trying to give you quizzes here to make the grading difficult with these things. I'm trying to get you to engage with the material and attend class on a regular basis. All right? So if you'll come to class, if you'll pay attention, if you'll ask me questions, you will do very well on these in-class assignments. Right? And I know occasionally you may have to miss a class for some unplanned reason. I'll drop your lowest 3 for that reason. Okay. Grading, this is how I'm going to grade your work in this class. So we'll have 3 exams. They count 75% of your score. Anything that is not an exam goes in this other category that is 25%. All right, and most of that will be the in-class assignments. Right? However, occasionally you will have homework assigned outside of the in-class assignment. You will have Canvas quizzes. Anything else I assign that's not an exam is going to go into this category here and count 25% of your grade. Okay, and then you'll have 3 exams and an optional cumulative final exam. That's 75%. The final exam is optional because I will count your 3 best exams. So if at the end of the semester you've taken the 3 exams and you're happy with your score, then you can skip the final. If you didn't do well on one of the exams and you want an opportunity to improve your score, then you can choose to take the final exam. And again, I will keep your best 3 scores. So I'll drop your lowest exam score, and that makes the final optional. Okay, I've got a schedule here. These are when the exams occur. I teach 4 sections of this class, so you can find your section here. For you guys, it's the Tuesday, Thursday, 3 p.m. section. So here are the exam dates. Here's the date of your final exam. So you can look at that. Yeah, I've got some example calculations here of how I will calculate your grade. So just for example here, I've got one student, he chose to take the cumulative final. So he has these exam scores and he has a homework average of 74. So his exam average, I'll take his highest 3 exams. The cumulative final is the lowest, so I'll drop that one. The average of his 3 exams is 76.33. His homework average is 74. So I take his exam average times 0.75 plus his homework average times 0.25, and that adds up to 75.75. Right? That would be the final average for this student. Okay? And I'll show you some other calculations here. Here's a student that chose not to take the cumulative final. So let's see, this is Thomas Reed. So he scored 0 on the final. That's the one I'll drop. So I will average his other 3 exams. It turns out to be 94. His homework average is 95. So going through the calculation there, 75% of his exam average plus 25% of his homework average is 94.25. Okay, that's how I will calculate your score. Okay, yeah, the exams will cover all the material that have to be completed up until exam day. If you come to class, pay attention, do the example problems in class. Nothing on the exam will surprise you. Right? I try to make the exam look very similar to problems we've done in class. Not exactly like, but very similar. One thing I'll mention is that I try to pick the hardest problems, though. Right? So you'll see a lot of example problems in class. I try to put the hardest ones, like examples like those, on the hardest ones on the exam. Okay, I'll follow the grading scale exactly. I don't round any amount. Whatever you see on Canvas is what you'll get. I don't use the Y grade. There's some information here about requirements to request a grade of incomplete. I have some information here about medical compassionate withdrawal, and there's a link there, I believe, to that policy. I have some rules for emails and frequently asked questions, so I'm going to go over those now. So let me call up the rules for emails. I came up with these several years ago because I was frustrated at the number and type of emails that I was receiving from students, and students were also frustrated with me that I did not respond the way they thought I should. So I'm just trying to lay it out here, what I expect from your emails, so that we understand each other and you know what you can expect from me as far as answering your emails, right? So here they are. I will not answer emails containing questions answered in the frequently asked questions posted on Canvas. So why don't we just look at those now, the frequently asked questions. This cuts down on some of the emails if we go ahead and cover this now. So I've already talked about this. If you missed class, you should find out what you missed from another student. You can also see material posted on Canvas. Right? You cannot make up in-class assignments. I don't allow you to make those up for any circumstances. To allow for unforeseen emergencies that you couldn't plan for, I will drop your lowest 3 assignment grades. So you've got 3 there that you can use for unplanned emergencies. Students often ask about a curve on the exam. I occasionally curve exam scores. It depends on how the exam works out, but you should not plan on it. I almost always have a few students who score 100% on the exam. And if I have a fair number of very high scores, I am not going to curve the exam, and I usually have at least 2 or 3 students score 100% on the exam. So you should not count on a curve. I often get this question at the end of the semester. I'm very, very close to an A, or I'm very, very close to a C. Can you round this up? And no, I will not round it up. The grade you see on Canvas is the grade you will get. There's no opportunity to rework any material or gain any extra credit. Right? So if you want to make an A, then study really hard, be well prepared, have 3 fantastic exam scores, and you can skip the final exam and you'll make an A and you won't have to worry about cutting it close. right? But I'm not going to round anything at the end or have any special deals at the end. What you see on Canvas is what you get. I often have students say, particularly after the first exam, they'll say, boy, I did not do very well on that. Can you tell me what I should do? I don't have any special advice in this situation. You should learn something from the fact that you did so poorly on the first exam and prepare a lot better for the next two. Right? One thing I always mention to students is that you should review the first exam and go back and take it again and see where you went wrong. And you'll learn a lot from that situation too, all right? So I'll mention here also, I always have 2 or 3 students who are just stunned at how hard my first exam is. And so I'm just going to tell you, don't be that way. Come to class, pay attention, see how the in-class assignments are. Imagine taking some of those harder problems as an exam and be prepared for it. And you won't have this problem, all right? So I also don't want to sound too too unconcerned here. I have had students bomb the first exam and then talk to me, and we work, I help them see what they did wrong on the exam, and they ended up doing very well in the class. So that is possible. But however, that's an awful lot of stress on you for the whole semester. So I encourage you to treat that first exam like it's very, very important and be over prepared for it and get ahead, and then it's not so hard on you the rest of the class. All right. I also have a lot of students drop the class after the first exam, which is, a lot of wasted time and money, in my opinion. So don't underestimate my exams. Prepare for them. Be ready for them. And you'll have a lot less pressure on you through the semester. Students will often ask me, what do I need to make on the third exam to make an A in this class? It's not that hard of a calculation, and I show you example calculations in the syllabus. You can do the math to figure out what score you need to reach the grade you want, right? So I'll leave it to you to do the math. Students will often ask right before the exam, what's going to be on the exam? And I have found without fail that the students who come to class, pay attention, work hard on the in-class assignments, know exactly what's going to be on the exam. They don't have to ask me this question, right? So that's not a question I'm going to answer. If you come to class and pay attention, you know what's going to be on the exam. And if you don't, I'm not going to help you out, right? So you can just assume that everything on Canvas up to this date is what's going to be on the exam. All right, come to class, pay attention, know what's going on. Nothing on the exam will surprise you. Right, same answer for this one. Will this topic be on the exam? Well, if you're in class paying attention, you'll know. Right, and if you're not sure, well, just assume it will be, and figure out how to do those problems. Okay? Can we use a formula sheet? No, you cannot use a formula sheet. I often have students ask me this question after a couple of lectures because they say, well, that's a lot of formulas. And I say, no, it's not. We really only have 1 or 2 formulas in this class. It's just the same formula presented several different ways. If you understand how to use that formula and how to do simple algebra, then it's really very simple. And also, if you have practiced the problems enough, you will easily remember those formulas. Right? Now, if you're trying to study everything the night before, then yeah, you're right. There's an awful lot of things that look like they're tough to remember. But I promise you, if you come to class and practice these problems enough, you won't care that there's not a formula sheet, because all those formulas will be in your head. Right? It's really not that much for a formula sheet. So no, you cannot use a formula sheet on the exam. However, good news is I do let you use Excel on the exam. Right? You can use Excel to solve these problems, and if you will practice doing that, this is a very big help. Excel is a fantastic way to do these problems. It makes them a lot easier to solve, and if you will practice and get familiar with the software, it'll be a big help to you on these exams. And then the question is, will there be a review or practice exam? I occasionally have these. Kind of depends on how we're doing on timing, but I don't guarantee it. Right? The exam will cover everything we've covered up to that date, and if I still have some small amount of material to cover the day before the exam, then I'll do it. There won't be time for a review. Okay, we'll see. Okay, preparing for the exam, practice solving problems. Right, this is a problem-solving class. You'll have plenty. I give you example problems every day in class to solve. And so go back and look at those again and imagine doing those without being able to look at the answers. That's a good way to prepare for the exam. Okay, there's also practice problems in the slides. I always have extra problems in the slides. You can practice those. Right, but the more you practice these problems, the better prepared you are for the exam. Students often ask me how many questions will be on the exam. I don't know. Again, it'll be very similar to the problems I hand out in class. So imagine how many of those I would need to give you to take up about an hour and 10 minutes of your time. And that's about what I'm going to do. Right? The exam format is, again, very similar to the example problems worked in class. It's not multiple choice. I ask you to solve a problem and give me an answer. So what is the price of this bond? What's the price of this stock? What's the rate of return on this investment? That kind of thing. Solve the problem, give me an answer. Okay? So it's not multiple choice. You have to come up with the answer on your own. Okay? All right, so that's the frequently asked questions. If we go back to the rules for emails, so I won't answer emails if the question is in that frequently asked question set. Every email you send me should contain a formal salutation, right? Such as Professor Williams or Dr. Williams, your name as it appears in the Canvas gradebook. Right? I don't want to have to try to figure out where you are, who you are. Right? The other thing is your class and meeting time. Right? You can see in the syllabus that I'm teaching 4 sections of this class this time, and I'm also teaching another class. So that is a whole lot of students to keep up with. And I will not remember what class you're in. So you should send me, you should say, listen, this is so-and-so from your Tuesday, Thursday class. It meets at 3 o'clock. Right? If you're asking about a particular problem, I want to know what you've done to try to solve the problem. Okay? So if you just say, could you tell me how to do number 3? So I'm going to say, well, what do you think? How would you start? Okay? You should tell me what you've done to try to solve the problem. You could say, I tried this and this, but I don't get the right answer. Can you tell me where I'm going wrong? Okay, I say here you should attach an Excel spreadsheet showing your work on the problem. Okay, so you can attach that to your email. And here's a good example. All right, so this is an example of emails I like to see. All right, Professor Williams, so a nice salutation. This is John Doe from your Fin 302 class that meets Monday, Wednesday at 3 p.m. All right, so now I know exactly who it is and what class he's in. I was reviewing the rounds of financing problem we went over in class today, and I cannot get the ROI calculation correct. I attached my spreadsheet. You can see that my number in cell B58 is not correct. Can you help me see what I'm doing wrong? Thank you. All right, now that's a perfect email, and I'm happy to answer those emails. Right, I know who he is, what class he's in. I can see what he's done to try to solve the problem. I'm sure I can figure out where his mistake is. It's easy for me to solve that problem. Right, so that's the kind of email I want to receive. All right, here's an example of email I don't want to receive. It says, Yo Professor. Well, I'm too old for Yo Professor. I am Professor Williams, Dr. Williams, Your Royal Highness. I don't know, but some professional salutation. Right? And then he says, can you tell me why I missed problem number 4 on the quiz? Well, again, I have a lot of different classes. I probably give a lot of different quizzes. I don't necessarily know exactly what problem number 4 is for you. So you need to give me more information about what the problem is and what you've done to try to figure out your mistake. Okay? All right, and notice just signed it Bob Smith, didn't tell me what class he's in. All right, so that's not an email I'm going to respond to. Okay, and then the worst emails I get are like this. Hey, Professor, what will be on the exam tomorrow? So the exam's tomorrow and you don't know what's going to be on it, I'm not going to help you out. Right? And then also I don't know how to do the cost of capital problems. Will those be on the exam? Well, if you're not sure if it's going to be on the exam, it's because you haven't been coming to class and paying attention, and I'm not going to help you out in that case. Right? So I don't care much for seeing those last two examples, if you're going to send me an email, it should be something like this one. Okay, so that's emails. Let's finish up the syllabus here. I don't have office hours or answer emails the day of the exam. And I say that just because I got so frustrated over the years of students waiting until the last minute to study, which I think is a terrible way to do things. And even if you cram the information in your head and find a way to score okay on the exam, it hasn't done you a lot of good, because learning things that quickly and then disgorging them on the exam, it isn't a good way to learn. You're not going to remember that material long. I'm not going to encourage that. So don't wait until the day before the exam to ask me questions. If you send me an email late in the evening before the exam day, you're not going to get a response. All right, plan accordingly. Best time to ask me questions about the problems on the exam is the week before. Gives us both plenty of time to be sure you understand the material. Okay, yeah, there's no extra credit in this class. I've put this in here about letters of recommendation to graduate school, just because over the years I have a lot of students that will email me and say, can you write me a letter of recommendation? And most of the time, I just don't know you that well. Even students who went through my class and did very well and made an A, just because of the nature of the class, I teach a lot of students, and I've been doing this a long time, and I just don't have good memory of individual students. Right? So in almost every case, I'm going to say, I'm sorry I can't help you. I just don't remember you well enough to write a good letter for you. Right? Now, if there's some outside circumstance that, I don't know, we've worked on a project somehow, or for some reason I've gotten to know you better, then sure, I would consider that. But for most students, if the only thing you did was sit through my class and made an A, and I don't know anything else about you, then that's just not enough for me to write a letter for you, and I will politely decline. Okay. All right, so I've got a class outline here. I'm not a real stickler for schedule. I'll go through these as quickly as I can. We should certainly get through these first topics here. Whether we have enough time for financial statement analysis at the end is, I'm not sure. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So I'll just see how quickly I get through these topics here. So we'll talk about time value money, bonds, stocks, risk and return, capital budgeting, and we'll see how we do. Okay. All right. Note here, this is for Thanksgiving week. Classes on Tuesday and Wednesday. Thanksgiving week will be online recordings with a quiz due that Sunday. Right, so I won't require you to be on campus that day. You will have material that you have to cover and take a quiz that'll be due Sunday. And this is the Sunday after Thanksgiving, so sometime during your holiday. I encourage you to do it before you leave, like Wednesday night would be a good time to get these quizzes done, but at any rate, I will make them due that Sunday. Okay, so that's Thanksgiving week. Notice there is class on Monday. So if you're in that Monday, Wednesday class, then you've got to come to class on Monday. But Wednesday will be online, Tuesday will be online. Okay, and then there's policies following here. So I've got some links here to the academic calendar. Here's the final exam schedule. And then there's other policies here that you can find in this link here. Okay, so that's an overview of the syllabus. That should get you started. Remember that you'll have some, there are some lectures posted, some videos of lectures posted online. And you have 2 quizzes due, plus this syllabus quiz that will be due Sunday night. And I will see you in class on Tuesday.